Hey everyone, and welcome. We're all chasing something, aren't we? A better job, a bigger house, just a happier life. But have you ever stopped right in the middle of that chase and just wondered, am I even running in the right direction? Well, today we're going to explore that very question, looking at a specific framework for finding a life filled with purpose. You know that feeling, right? It's like you're spinning your wheels, even though you're moving at top speed. You're busy, you're productive, you're making all the right moves, checking off all the boxes. But then, when you finally pause for a second, you get this nagging feeling that all this effort, it isn't actually taking you anywhere meaningful. And wow, this quote just nails that feeling, doesn't it? I know I've felt this way before, and I'm guessing you probably have too. It's that awful moment when you realize you've been so focused on just climbing that you never stop to check if you were even on the right wall to begin with. The problem isn't our effort, it's our direction. So, what does it really mean to be on the wrong ladder? This is where we're going to dig into that feeling of being outwardly successful, but inwardly just empty. What does that look like? And how do we even know if we're climbing against the wrong wall? Man, that is a chilling thought, isn't it? To pour your entire life into something, all your energy, your passion, only to get to the very top and realize the view isn't what you wanted at all. But here's the good news. It is not too late to change course. We can choose to check our ladder right now, today, before we get any higher. And this is our first big challenge. In the absolute mad rush of daily life, have we actually stopped climbing for just a minute? I had to ask myself this, and it wasn't easy, but it was one of the most important things I've ever done. So I want to encourage you to do the same. Just for a second, step back from the ladder, look up, and ask yourself, where is this wall really taking me? Okay, so how do we figure out if we're on the right wall? Well, it all starts with one simple but incredibly powerful question. What is your number one priority? So in this section, we're going to take a really honest look at our lives and figure out what's truly at the center.
Now, what's so interesting here is how it defines our priority. See, it's not what we say is important. Our actions are like a compass. They're always pointing to our true north. So if you want to know what you really value, don't look at your to-do list. Look at your done list. Where did your time and energy actually go? That's your real number one.
For a lot of us, our career is a massive part of our lives. And hey, that's a good thing. It can bring a sense of purpose, it provides for our families. But according to this perspective, when our career becomes the only thing, the one thing we sacrifice everything else for, well, that's when we're in danger of it being the wrong wall. And of course, we all need money to live. That's just a reality of the world. But when our whole life becomes about just accumulating more and more of it, we can lose sight of what truly matters. This worldview suggests that at the end of the day, our bank account just can't provide that deep meaning and purpose we're all looking for. And really, when you think about it, both of those, career and money, they often fall under this much broader category. It's the project of building our own little kingdom, with ourselves sitting right on the throne. We're the king or queen of our own life, and everything and everyone else is just there to serve our ambitions. But as we're about to see, that kind of kingdom is built on a very, very shaky foundation. And this brings us to a fundamental problem with the me-first life. Any kingdom that's built on something finite and fragile, like a career or money, or even ourselves, it's bound to crumble eventually. So what's the alternative? Well, the source material we're looking at today proposes a pretty radical answer. The only foundation strong enough to build a life on is God. This is such an important question for our time. We've talked about the classics, but what do you see? I'd love to hear what you think about this. What are some of the new wrong walls you see people climbing today? Maybe it's the chase for online fame, that perfect Instagram life, or even a certain political ideology. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This isn't just a personal struggle. It's a battle of ideas that's raging all around us. In this section, we're going to look at the two competing philosophies of life that are fighting for our allegiance, the me-first world and the God-first way. And it does, right? I mean, everywhere we look, we're being told to put ourselves first. Ads tell us we deserve the best. Self-help books tell us to follow our dreams no matter what it costs. Our social media feeds can turn into a constant stream of self-promotion. It is a relentless pressure to make ourselves the center of our own universe. And this slide just lays out the two paths before us so clearly. On the left, you've got the me first life, which is all about building our own little kingdom. But look at the right. The God first life is about seeking something bigger than ourselves, His kingdom, His values. It's a fundamental choice between living for our own glory or living for something so much greater.
And I really want you to hear this part. According to this source, this isn't about some restrictive list of rules or a set of obligations. It's an invitation to a better way of life. It's a chance to trade that endless, exhausting pursuit of me for something so much more meaningful and fulfilling.
Okay, so what does it actually look like to live a God-first life? In this section, we're going to get into the core principle behind this way of living and the incredible promise that, according to the source, comes right along with it. This verse right here, from the book of Matthew, really gives us the key. It's not about doing more. It's about aligning our lives with a different priority. The idea is that when we make seeking God's kingdom, His way of doing things, our number one focus, everything else in our lives naturally starts to fall into place. It's less of a magic formula and more like a principle of spiritual physics.
So let's break this down. Step 1, seek His kingdom. That's all about our heart's desire. What do we want more than anything else? Step 2, live righteously, is about our daily choices. Do our actions actually reflect that desire? And step 3, well, that's the beautiful result. When our heart and our actions are aligned with God, He promises to take care of everything else. So it all comes down to getting that first thing right. But what does it really mean to put God first? I mean, is it enough to just say He's number one? In our next section, we're going to explore what it means to make God not just a part of our life, but the very center of it. You know how some people say they're spiritual but not religious? This next idea gets at a similar kind of distinction. It's about the difference between having God as a nice idea in your life versus having Him as the driving force behind everything you do. And this is where it gets really personal, isn't it? It's easy to give God a slice of our life, a little piece of the pie on a Sunday morning. But to make Him the Lord of our life, the one who gets to decide how the whole pie is divided up, whoa, that's a much, much bigger commitment. And C.S. Lewis just captured this perfectly with this powerful quote. We can't pick and choose which parts of our lives we're going to surrender to Him. It's either all or nothing. From this viewpoint, He's either the Lord of our finances, our relationships, our career, and our dreams, or He's not really Lord at all. So let's just do a quick check-in with this brilliant analogy. In what areas of your life are you still trying to be a backseat driver? Where are you still grabbing for the steering wheel, even though you say you've handed it over? Just take a quiet moment to think about that right now. And this idea of putting God first is not new. Not at all. It's been at the very heart of the Judeo-Christian tradition for thousands of years. The very first of the 10 Commandments says, "You shall have no other gods before me." In other words, don't let anything or anyone else take that number one spot in your life. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation isn't solid, it doesn't matter how beautiful the rest of the house is. Eventually, it is going to crumble. This first principle is presented as the foundation of a life that's actually built to last. When we get that right, everything else has a solid place to stand. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why and the how of putting God first. But what about the so what? What's the actual tangible difference it makes in our day-to-day lives? In this final section, we're going to look at the incredible payoff of living this way. The source draws this really direct line. If money is your number one, what happens? You're constantly checking your portfolio, worrying about the next market crash. If your career is number one, you're always stressed about the next promotion, comparing yourself to others. The thing we worship becomes the source of our greatest worry. But when we put God first, something amazing happens. We're no longer carrying the weight of the entire world on our own shoulders. We are free from the constant pressure to be in control, to have all the answers, and to make everything work out perfectly. We can finally rest, knowing that our lives are in the hands of a God who has a plan. And here is the beautiful paradox of the God-first life. When we stop chasing after things like success and joy, and instead we seek God first, those are the very things He gives us. It's not a formula, it's a relationship. The idea is that when we're in a right relationship with God, everything else in our lives begins to fall into its rightful place. So, as we close out, I want to leave you with that one simple question. It's not about how fast you're climbing or how high you've reached. The only question that really matters is this: what wall is your ladder on? If you were inspired by this video,
Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Be Thankful. And if you know someone who might need to hear this message, feel free to share this video as well. Thank you and God bless.